All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're cracking open an ancient Chinese text that's literally thousands of years old. But this isn't just a history lesson. Nope, we're actually digging into a pretty wild theory that this book, the I Ching, might be a blueprint for some of the biggest scientific discoveries of our time.
Now, when you hear I Ching, you probably think of fortune-telling, right? Some mystical way to predict the future. But what if that's just scratching the surface? What if, hidden inside, there's a code that describes the very fabric of our universe? We're talking everything from the computer you're watching this on to the DNA inside your own body. That's the huge question we're tackling today.
Okay, so to even begin to unpack a claim that big, we have to start with the code itself. We've got to understand the fundamental pieces of the I Ching to see how on earth they could connect to our modern world. At the very heart of the I Ching, you find this. These are the 64 hexagrams. And yeah, it looks like a bunch of mysterious symbols. But our source author, Hengxi, he argues that this exact arrangement is the key. It's the key to a hidden pattern that's woven through science and nature. And here's the really cool part. All of that complexity is built from something incredibly simple. Just two types of lines. A solid, unbroken yang line and a broken yin line. That's it. Every single one of those 64 symbols is just a different combination of 6 of those lines stacked on top of each other. So, the real question is, what can you really build with just 2 simple ingredients? Well, as it turns out, you can build our entire digital world. And that brings us to our first kind of shocking connection, the idea that the I Ching might just be the world's oldest computer. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Look at this. On the left, you have the I Ching system. Now just imagine for a second that the broken line is a 0 and the solid line is a 1. What do you have? You have a binary system. And on the right, well, that's the language of every single computer, tablet, and phone on the planet, also built on zeros and ones. It is an absolutely stunning parallel. Then get this. This isn't some new theory somebody just cooked up. This connection was spotted over 300 years ago by none other than Gottfried Leibniz, the guy who formally invented the binary system our computers use. The story goes that when he was shown the 64 hexagrams, his mind was blown. He saw immediately that they were a perfect representation of the binary numbers from 0 all the way to 63.
But the code doesn't stop with machines. Not even close. This is where the investigation gets even deeper, because we find another parallel, this time inside the blueprint of life itself. That same pattern, that same number, shows up again where you would least expect it.
So what you're looking at here is basically the source code for life. Our DNA is written with 4 chemical letters, but the instructions are read in groups of 3. And if you do the math, how many different 3-letter combinations can you make? You guessed it, exactly 64. These 64 codons are the complete instruction set for building pretty much every living thing on Earth. There's that number again, 64.
So, is this all just one giant cosmic coincidence? The author we're looking at, Cai, argues absolutely not. He suggests that this number, 64, popping up in ancient philosophy, in computer science, and in genetics, well, that's evidence of a deep underlying structure to the universe, a nexus, as he calls it, connecting the digital world, the biological world, and maybe even our own minds. Okay, so we've got a binary code for machines and a genetic code for life, and both are built on a 64-part system. The author says this isn't just about a number. It's a clue that points to a much, much bigger idea. The idea that the universe itself might be structured like a hologram, where the blueprint for the entire thing is contained in every tiny piece. This is that holographic principle in action. The idea that the whole is encoded in the part. I mean, think about it. A single one of your cells contains the entire DNA blueprint for all of you. The author says this pattern scales up everywhere. A family is like a tiny town. A town is a mini-society. A person could even be seen as a miniature of the entire cosmos. This way of thinking, this as above, so below idea, that is the absolute essence of the I Ching's philosophy. And all of this leads us to the final, massive revelation in this theory. It all comes down to a single, powerful symbol that the author believes wraps up this entire unified system of code, life, and the cosmos. And it's a symbol I bet every single one of you recognizes instantly.
Of course it's the yin-yang. We've all seen it a million times. We know it stands for balance, for the dance of opposites. But in this interpretation, it's not just a cool philosophical icon. It's being presented as something far more concrete and way more powerful. And here it is, the theory's biggest and most audacious claim, that the yin-yang symbol isn't just philosophy, it's physics. The author is actually proposing that this is a visual diagram of a unified field theory. You know, the holy grail of physics, the single idea that scientists like Einstein searched for their entire lives, a principle that could unite all the forces of nature, from the tiniest atom to the biggest galaxy, into one elegant picture.
So, what is the I Ching? Is it an ancient computer, a map of our DNA, a diagram of the entire universe? Maybe it's all of those things. Whether you see it as just a series of incredible coincidences or as a genuine cosmic code, it definitely makes you look at ancient wisdom in a whole new light. And it leaves you with a really big question. What other ancient secrets are just sitting there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to finally decode them?